Creating your own art style with inspiration you find all over the internet has never been easier thanks to AI and the latest image generation models. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Venice Studio platform to take images with styles you like and generate brand new concepts. For this demo, I'll be using reference images from mood board sites and from the Venice brand itself. We'll create new styles and replicate existing ones. So let's dive right in. So we'll start off just by running through a basic example of how to synthesize different styles. Here is designinspiration.com. We can see multiple images with just certain vibes. I'll take a few of these and I'll head into the Venice Studio over to the Edit tab. And here we see the style reference capability. I'm going to upload those 3 images I saved, and I'll simply say, create a mood board for this style I'm exploring. Now we can see there's not a lot of similarities between these, but let's just say there's a vibe I like and I want to explore what the synthesis could be with all these together. Cool. So it took my prompt pretty literally here and put everything together. So there's our first example of what style reference can do. Let's try again with a more succinct prompt. We're going to start with just 2 images here. And let's say I want a poster advertisement for this Yamaha motorcycle with typography like the first image. The text should say, happiness is riding a motorcycle in the rain. So I'm going to shoot that off with the Luma Uni 1 Max model. So here we go. Pretty cool, huh? Happiness is riding a motorcycle in the rain. Now, we got a little bit of whoops right there, in which case here in the edit image toggle, I'll say remove the ook text, but keep everything else the exact same. I'm going to use Nano Banana 2 here. You can use any model you want, but remember, the more premium, probably the better results you'll get. And there it is. Happiness is riding a motorcycle in the rain. So that's our first basic use case for image style reference here on the Venice Studio. We essentially merged these images together. Let's take it a step further now. Here I am on Behance searching for design inspiration. And here we see pattern inspired by old Georgian ornaments by Teo Uridatse. Let's screenshot that. In fact, we'll screenshot all of this. And now here in a new session, I'm uploading these reference images. And I'm going to use Krea V2 Large this time, a different model, because we can adjust the strength of each image reference. So for example, if I want all of these vibes together, but I want more of this red color as opposed to that orange, I'm going to up the strength of image 1 and lower the strength of image 3. And I'll say create a photo of a Georgian woman in made in Georgia fabric standing in the mountains outside of Tbilisi. We'll change that to create a photorealistic portrait. We'll change that to portrait aspect ratio, and we'll send that off. Okay, so we didn't quite get the photorealistic, but we did get that art style. Interesting. So if we pull that up again, and I click this use prompt icon for my prompt to come back, and we'll try that again with a different model now. This time, raising the strength for image 3. We're still not getting that photorealistic look, but we are getting the fabrics and we are getting the basic thing we want. So let's try it again. Let's load up the prompt and the images, and let's try with Luma Uni 1. And there we go. We got it with our final model, a photorealistic portrait. We even got the made in Georgia tag there and the nice fabrics. So shout out to Teo here from Georgia. Remember to support your real artists out there. But if you want to get creative and you're trying to create mood boards, something like this is a great tool to have in your arsenal. So now let's move on to a third use case, which is mimicking styles for world building. So here I've got a screenshot from the Venice Twitter page. I've got an image of our magical Venice world, and I've got a screenshot of the Venice Bazaar announcement image. But you'll see that it's a little pixelated. So what I'm going to do before I actually generate the style referenced image, click here to Upscale. And here in the Upscale, I can simply take that image, choose the upscaler model. I prefer Seed VR2, and just send that off, and it will make it higher resolution, higher quality. Remember, when we're generating images with style references, the higher resolution quality you provide, the higher quality output you're going to get. Great. And what that's going to do is then automatically download it to your computer. So I have one more image I want to upscale as well. So once you got those downloaded, we'll head back to the style reference tab and we'll upload our style reference images, up to 3 of them. Here we have our Fox image, much more clear this time. Here we have our announcement image, much more clear this time. And this other one, I'm going to select from assets. So we see that nice, spacious palace looking place. So now what we'll say, we're going to do a few different examples here. First off, we need to choose a model. There are 4 models currently available via Venice to do style reference. We'll do Krea V2 large here, and then after we'll use Luma Uni 1 Max. But essentially, I need to add an aspect ratio, which I'm going to choose landscape, and then we need to adjust our reference strengths. I want a strong reference for this first image. I'm going to slide that up. I really like the second image as well. I'll bring that up. This third image we'll just bring kind of down a little bit. And I've got a pretty deep prompt here. A grand circular observatory chamber with towering white marble columns. A mechanical model of the solar system with planets rendered as glowing geometric wireframe spheres with golden line patterns. So this is going to be an observatory. And I'm also going to say no text. We'll try it another generation where we actually will reference the text. But for now, let's just generate this observatory. Okay, there it is. We've got our observatory. I actually really like how that turned out. You see we got all the magical holographic lines in the statues and some magical dust in the air. I'll save this. All right, so for our second image, I'll upload our 3 reference images. And this time, we are going to generate a floating garden of ether and a possibly grand marble terrace suspended over the Venetian lagoon at golden hour. Now, we want text in the sky, and we'll just have it say, a floating garden of ether awaits. Now, this time, I'm going to bring this image reference down, and image 3 can stay the same. Truthfully, I probably don't even want to use this image because it has other text that might confuse it. So I'm actually going to X that out. And I'll come back to this image, which I probably should have selected in the first place. Now we just make sure, see how the image 1 is now this one, but it still has the right weight. And I think that is about good here. This time I'm going to use Luma Uni 1 Max. Okay, a floating garden of ether awaits. So look, we did more or less get that look with the font. Remember, it's combining from all the images, but I really like this. I'm going to generate it one more time with Krea V2 large. And I can reselect the original here. Paste in my prompt. Text in the sky. A garden of ether awaits. And this time, I'm just going to give agent 1 just like all the weight. I'm also going to say text in the sky matches image 1 typography. Let's see, and we want more of image 3. And then we'll shoot that off. And here we go. And we notice that this model took it in a completely different direction. And I would argue that the text looks more like the reference with the Luma Uni model. Okay, so we have some images now. And truthfully, while I don't like the font here, I like these both actually. I think they're both really nice, but I think I'm going to go with this one and I'm going to save that. Now we're going to make a third image, but we're going to use the 2 images we just generated as our references. And you can see here, I can just click select asset and they're already here because they're being stored on my browser. And now here, I'm going to add one more reference, which is this one. And I'm going to paste in my prompt. A vast underground chamber with a vaulted ceiling supported by hundreds of white marble columns fading into shadowy depth. Now I'm going to keep that prompt ready because we are going to generate it with the last 2 models we haven't used yet, Krea V2 medium, and then after that's done we'll use Luma Uni 1 instead of Max. And we'll say no text. And to be honest, I'm pretty happy keeping all of these strengths the same. I think it will be okay at this stage in the process. And shoot that off. Interesting. So now you can see we're world building here. And really our imagination is the limit. We can keep on deriving new scenes and worlds this way. Let's do this generation again with Luma Uni 1. Our final model. No text. Okay, wow, this is really cool too. I might like this the most. I'll save it. So now you understand the style reference technique to mix and match colors, styles, ideas, aesthetics also to adjust the strengths. And that's how you can explore the aesthetic and style you want using the style reference. But to close this off, let's do one last activity for what you might want to do next for your own world building. So here in the Venice agentic chat, I'm going to upload all of the images we just made, my favorite ones at least. And you can see that we're starting to, show a world here. We've got something kind of cool going on. Let's say analyze these images and help me build a world. We want a lore, mythology, characters, stories, etc. So we can make a world Bible for my blank, my video game, my film, my novel, AI character, whatever you want. We can use these images now to build a world. A visual analysis, the recurring language that it sees in the images, marble and gold filigree bodies, floating wireframe polyhedra, water as mirror, sky as ceiling, Venice but eternal. Kneeling figures. And here we have a proposed foundation, the Serenissima Eterna. Cosmology, the founding myth, the central mystery. Characters, story engines, and where it needs our input. So in case you're trying to build a world out there and have some fun, this is a great starting point. Check out this world building video on the Venice channel where we get deeper into creating your own world and characters with AI. Use the Venice Studio style reference capabilities, drag and drop the images of ideas that you can imagine working together to create something brand new that the world has never seen. And you can get more and more creative here. We only touched the style reference and upscale, but we can combine images here as well. We can just straight up edit images, say, change the tint of the image from blue to red and add a space nebula feel in the background. And now we have a very different vibe, right? So happy creating. Remember that Venice does not log any of your prompt data and uses private models for your requests whenever possible, anonymized otherwise. This is so you can express yourself freely and create without boundaries. So happy creating out there.